How's it going, guys? My name is Mufflee. Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make an underwater taming cage, so that way you can tame any type of underwater dino easily. I'm going to be using a motorboat simply because you can get away from these annoying ass whales who destroy all your rafts. That way you don't lose any resources and all your hard work doesn't go to waste. As you can see here, I can get away safely. So let's go over the specific items that we're going to need for this exact build. 2 ramps, 2 dino gateways, 2 dino gates, 5 pillars, 10 to 15 foundations, 1 door frame and a door, 33 windowed walls, 2 giant trapdoors, 2 giant hatch frames, a ton of walls, and a ton of ceilings. Once you have your motorboat built, we can then begin building. Looking at the front of the raft, there's a little square right in the middle. Place a pillar down as perfectly as you can right in the center of it. Be aware that if you put it off center, it'll make the entire build off center. And all we're going to do is set down thatch foundations preferred to save you resources, and we're going to use the pillar glitch to lower the foundations into the raft. That way, the foundations are flush with the raft, and the foundations themselves will protect the raft from the bottom, so that way it doesn't get destroyed. If you don't know how to do this trick, I'll leave a link in the description to tips and tricks on building. Lower the foundation 4 times, so you should go through 4 pillars. When finished, it should look like that. Once the foundation is flush, set down 3 more foundations on the right, the back, and diagonally back to the right. Now around the outer edge of the foundations, you can start setting down the ceilings to extend the raft outward. Once you're here, you can set down more foundations because we're going to fill up the entire raft and extend the ceiling all the way around the outer edge. Looking at the back of the raft, this is what you should have. So now we're going to start building the lower portion of the cage. Drive your raft out into the water, but be sure you don't drive it out too far to where the creatures can start attacking you. Do a quick look around before you start building to make sure you're safe. Using the ceilings, we can attach walls to them. So from here, we can start extending a wall down around the whole entire outer edge. Once you're finished, it should look something like this. Just be sure to not enclose the back portions of the raft here, because this is where the top of the dino gates will be. Now we can start to build downward using the windowed walls. Each side of the raft should be 3 by 3, and then the front of the raft will be 3 by 5. Once that step is complete, it should look a little something like this. Some may question why I use the window walls, and it's for this specific use, to where I can shoot in and out. So now we're going to start building the lower floor of the cage. Looking at the lower right side of the cage, place 1 wall down. This will allow you to put 1 ceiling on top of it. From here, snap 1 giant hatch frame perfectly into the corner, like I did here. Now we can begin building the other portion. Snap metal ceilings down as I do in a T formation. In the other corner, you can set down another hatch frame. Finishing the T, it should look like this. We can then put the giant trapdoors in. Next is setting up the dino gateways. Take your time and be patient when setting it down. Try to line it up perfectly with the edge of the flooring and the walling. In the center, you're going to build 3 high walls to finish off the gap. And on the opposite side, you can set down the final dinosaur gateway. Once everything is placed and you're happy with it, where there's no gaps, put the doors in. These will be your primary, easily accessible main entrances into your cage, while the giant trapdoors on the floor will be an alternative route. The next step is to go over to the extra walling that we set down to build the floor. We can now demolish it without the floor going away. Just in case something seems off on your build, this is what it should look like. Alternatively, if you want to be fancy, you can set down a glass flooring, so that way you have somewhat of an observatory down into the ocean as you're driving. Just be aware that if a whale does attack you, it will destroy your entire floor, including your dinosaur gates as well. Alternatively, you could also place down dinosaur gateways around the entire edge instead of using the windowed walls. This will allow you entrance and access throughout all sides. Facing the rear of the raft, on the right hand side, set down a ramp, so that way you have easy access on and off of the boat, just in case of an emergency, or where you need to get on if a creature is trying to attack you. Now for the next step, facing the front of the raft, head to the front right corner of the metal ceilings. Demolish the front 2 on the right hand side. Then place down a ramp from inside of the water, so that way you can get easy access in and out of the cage without having to jump off the raft. Now we're going to start building the house portion of the raft, so that way you're protected and you can store all your materials. Place down a pillar right in the middle of the middle back foundation. Snap one of the foundations to it, and it should look like that. This way, you're still able to start driving the motorboat without any issues. Now we can begin to start putting the walls up. If you follow my exact positioning of where I put the walls, you should have enough room for all the structures you need for taming, as well as extra room for carrying dinos. Now it is personal preference on how exactly you want to build the roofing and the walling of the raft, but if you want to get the specifics as to what I built, feel free to copy the exact layout that I have. Just be sure that the ramp going into the cage is encased inside your house, so that way you don't have to leave the interior of the housing to get inside the cage. So now I'm just going to encase the entire interior walling of the structure with a ceiling. One issue that I have to go through is to make sure that I'm able to walk through the entire inside of it. As you can see, the ceilings are snapping in and out of different points. If I get the wrong point, I'm not able to walk through that certain section. So I just delete it and replace another one down. Just be aware that this could be costly of resources. Next we're going to break down the second to last wall on the left hand side. This is where I'm going to be placing my door, so that way I can get in and out safely. So now this is what the entire upper portion of the build should look like at this point. Technically your raft is complete. However, because it is a taming cage, and you may be out somewhere far away from your base, you're going to want to set down a bed. Just in case you die, you can respawn back here. You also need a smithy, Anywhere you go, you always need a smithy. As well as a campfire, so that way you can cook food to stay alive, and a preserving bin, so that way you can store any type of resources and or meats for taming purposes. Be sure to arm your raft. Whether it's machine gun turrets, plant X's, you never know who or what you're going to run into out in the wild. As you can see here, I'm leading the Itchy inside the dino gateways. It seems to be a minor struggle for him, but he eventually gets in. In fact, two get in. From here I close the door, and I can begin the taming process. Without a hassle now, I don't have to go anywhere and chase after them. I can go up top, grab the resources that I need, and feed them without them running away. Alternatively, using the lower hatch frame, I can even fit a large megalodon inside. I hope this video helps some of you guys out. My name is Mufflee, and I'll see you survivors out in the Ark.